Hello, friends. Welcome to Peace is Here, the daily series exploring the architects of enough. Over 42 episodes, we've met artists, monks, tinkerers, revolutionaries, and saints, each offering a unique path to peace. Today we close our final theme, the path of radical simplicity, with one of the simplest and most radical of them all, Lanza del Vasto. Born a Sicilian nobleman, he gave up privilege to walk to India on foot and study with Gandhi. He returned not just with stories, but with a vow to live the rest of his life as a servant of peace. Architect of Enough. Lanza del Vasto was born in 1901 in Italy. He was a poet, philosopher, and aristocrat by birth, but felt called to something deeper. In 1936, he walked from Europe to India to meet Mahatma Gandhi and became his student. Gandhi named him Shantidas, the servant of peace. Lanza returned to Europe with a mission to bring Gandhian nonviolence to the West, not as an idea, but as a way of life. He founded the Community of the Ark, a series of intentional communities across France and Europe that lived according to principles of voluntary simplicity, shared labor, deep spirituality, and total nonviolence. They practiced bread making, blacksmithing, carpentry, organic farming, and communal song. Every task was sacred. Every life was equal. Lanza del Vasto was not interested in utopias of thought. He believed in utopias of action. During protests, he would carry a staff and wear a cloak, not as a costume, but as a reminder, peace must be visible. He fasted in protest of nuclear weapons, advocated for indigenous rights, and walked hundreds of miles in peace pilgrimages. He lived and died without possessions or position, yet left behind a living blueprint for peace through community. The Enough Reflection. Lanza del Vasto teaches us that enough is not an abstraction, it's a discipline. Enough is bread shared, a tool mended, a meal grown with one's own hands. Radical simplicity for him meant making peace visible in daily life. It meant crafting a life where dignity did not depend on wealth and truth did not need to shout. When we talk about enough, we often think about what we need, but Lanza asked us to think instead, what can we offer? This reminds me of one of the tips in Peace Stuff Enough, the new companion book to One More Year. You can find it and follow the Kickstarter at aviskalfsbeck.com/Kickstarter. Pedro says, Lanza del Vasto established the Community of the Ark based on Gandhi's principles, including the rule of bread labor, meaning everyone, regardless of education, shared the physical work of producing the community's needs. Critically, no money was used or individually owned within the community, proving that a rich life of purpose could be built without economic complexity. What is one act of peace I could make visible in my daily life? Not as a symbol, but as a practice. If someone looked at my life, would they be able to tell what I stand for? If not, what's one thing I could change? Words to keep. Lanza del Vasto once said, "The revolution that counts is not the one that changes governments, but the one that changes hearts. It is a silent revolution, and it begins in each person." That was the life and wisdom of our final architect of enough, Lanza del Vasto. This concludes the Architects of Enough, 42 daily episodes walking alongside 42 quiet visionaries who showed us how to live with less and be more. Less waste, more wonder, less panic, more presence, less power, more peace. Thank you so much for walking this journey with me. I hope these stories live with you long after the last episode fades. Coming soon is Control AI Disarm, a satirical podcast where small-town reporter Kirio Compost is back investigating a quiet global movement to disarm weapons and reclaim AI for the commons. Pedro's with her, of course, fact-checking big tech, one bark at a time. That was the life and wisdom of our architect of enough for this episode. If their story has inspired you to seek your own path to less consumption and more contentment, then please step off the treadmill with me. Let's learn from the architects of enough and discover together that for our planet, for our community, and for ourselves, peace is here. To follow my work, including the new book, Peace Stuff Enough, the entire Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series, and the podcast archive, visit avaskalfsbeck.com. That's also where you can find the link to my current Kickstarter. Our music is Dalai Lama Riding a Bike by the talented Javier Peque Rodriguez. You can find links to his music on Spotify and Bandcamp in the show notes. Thank you again. Listen for the peace.